What do we do when we're working on ourselves and we feel like we're not making any progress? This is something that happens frequently to everybody when they start working inside and start trying to release and let go. And frequently we hit a plateau where nothing seems to be happening and we just keep on continuing in the same direction, and it feels a bit relentless and we don't get enough reward or fruit for the hard work we're doing. So just a few points on this. If you have hit that plateau where you're doing everything and you feel like your tinnitus or your symptoms are not backing off, um, sometimes it can be really helpful just to let go of everything and just have a break, have a holiday, have a complete change. If we go away by ourselves, it can be a really useful space to just consider all our relationships and our usual patterns and our lifestyle, and looking at it with a fresh perspective. Just taking time out can be really useful. But often when we continue at this same level, this can point to a layer of stuckness. Everybody has stuckness, and maybe there are things that we're not dealing with, things that we're avoiding, things that are built into our patterns, our habitual tendencies that we have yet to see and break free of. Everybody has these. So it's very useful to just look at your own behavior, look at your relationships that you surround yourself with, and just see what's going on. Are you living with complete frustration and you've never been allowed to let off steam and just speak your mind? Are you over tolerant with things and it's just been quietly building up and you're now at simmering point where things want to release? You know, that these patterns of putting up with tyranny or putting up with tyrants or people who are aggressive. I've worked with people who have sessions and get better and then go home to a terrifying partner, and the whole family lives in terror and have to walk on eggshells. This is more than enough to keep you stuck in fight or flight. So at the end of the day, all we can do is to stay with the practice, and I really want to invite you to consider loving kindness towards yourself, because sometimes people can ferociously practice things, do lots of body work, do everything in their power to let go, and yet they're driving themselves quite hard. So finding just the right amount of practice that suits your system, knowing what your needs are. For example, if I find that the Twitter starts taking over, or I start feeling tense in the body, or I start feeling overwhelmed, which for me manifests as I can't breathe, or I feel sort of a bit enclosed, it's really important to know that it's now the time to take time out, which may be just going for a swim, it may be going on holiday, having a break, or it may be helpful to have support and therapy, because these plateaus are things that we have to live with, and in my experience, just gently, softly, kindly bringing awareness to them and trusting that at some stage they will release and let go. I've been working on wanting my heart to open and wanting to let go of grief and sadness, and it's taking quite a long time. And I have my therapy, I have my support network, and bit by bit things are daring to open up a little bit more, but we can only go at our own pace, and there's a wisdom in that pace, and having respect and trust for that allows us to just soften and let be. So at the end of the day, keep going with your practice, know what works for you, and maybe soften the intensity so that you can just stand back and consider what isn't happening, what haven't I dealt with, what am I avoiding. Very often that can be behind the stuckness or the plateau or lack of progress.